It's gonna be a good day. Favorite song on replay.
All right, y'all. We are in the first segment of the podcast, which is Slxck Thoughts. Now, Laila, I have a quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Have you ever experienced PTSD? Ever?
I can say I haven't experienced nothing very traumatic. Well, yeah, I have. Honestly, I can say because when my grandfather died in our house downstairs, I think that was definitely a part of PTSD. That was traumatic for me, like very traumatic, even to where like I was so like shocked and just devastated to where like God had to send in a dream like a confirmation that he was okay. Like I had a dream of my grandfather, like he was young, he was in all white, and he had 3 cookies in his hand. This how I knew he was all right because he loved Oreo cookies, and he had 3 cookies in his hand, and he was outside. Then he went outside and played with my brother, and I was just like, God sending me that dream, me having that dream was just a confirmation like he is okay. Because I was so devastated. I was worried about him because he had died in our house, and I was like, man, it was just all of a sudden. It was so he was dying, but still, you can't prepare for stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when that happened, that was very like devastating for me. But I would think that's probably the only thing would be like very traumatic that I saw.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand how it feels losing like a grandparent.
Mm-hmm.
I never experienced my grandmother passing away because my grandmother passed away like last November. Mm-hmm. But hers was so sudden, like we didn't even know about the situation until the day of. And that definitely hurt me. So I definitely understand you, feel you on that one entirely. The reason I asked that question, because my main question is, do you feel that us as Black people are born with PTSD?
I think it depends on the individual. I don't think us as all Black people are born with it because a lot of us aren't born in situations where we see traumatic stuff on a day-to-day basis. I mean, like, it'll be different for somebody that's born in those areas where they see killings happen. They see Black people being brutally murdered since a young age. Like, I grew to learn to know stuff like this. So I know from my standpoint, I definitely wasn't born with it. I had to learn it and I had to see it for myself. I haven't experienced it, but that doesn't make me not want to, like, be a part and feel for what they're feeling. You know what I mean? That's why I feel like I don't think we all are born with PTSD, but I know some people are because they are born into situations where all they see is traumatic events and a lot of things going on in their lives. But as far as all Black people as a collective, I don't think so. I really don't think so.
Okay. For me, I think I'm kind of like where you at too. I think it just really just truly depends. I always think, for the most part, if you grew up in the South, in my opinion, I feel like us, because all of us, I'm pretty sure all of us in here was born in the South.
Yeah.
Yes. All of us was born in the South here. So you usually, you see and experience different things from other people. Yeah. And I feel like the PTSD from, I lived on the West, I lived on the East Coast as well. Those experiences on those sides, they're a little different.
They're totally different.
But also, I feel like, see, now I'm trying to think to myself, because now I'm thinking to myself.
No, I want to see what you mean.
Because the PTSD the PTSD might be a little different in those areas. Like, I say, for example, you go to California.
Okay.
PTSD for them might involve like all the gang violence.
Yeah.
The things like, the killings, things like that. For us in the South, it might be more towards like racism. Yeah. Things like that. So that's why I said I'm thinking, I want to say mostly, like most of us. I'm not gonna say all of them, but I think most of us are born with it.
Yeah,
because you experienced it.
I wouldn't say a majority of Black people aren't, but I can. Me speaking for myself, I know that it's others that grew up like me. They didn't go through things that certain other Black people went through. Like, I had a great upbringing, so I'm not gonna sit here and say I got PTSD from a whole bunch of traumatic incidents, like as far as police brutality and gang violence. I didn't experience none of that, so I can't speak on it, but I've heard stories about it. I mean, my mother and my father grew up in the hood, and they told us a lot of stories. And my dad, he's from Knoxville, Tennessee, so that's a different type of ball game over there. And my mom, she was actually born in Montgomery, Alabama, and that's a very historic city. So Martin Luther King walked up and down them streets. So you know what I mean? So they experienced a lot of different things, and we've heard the stories. But as far as us and my siblings, we didn't grow up in that type of environment. So
see, for me and my brother, like before my dad got back into the military, like when we lived in Dumas, Arkansas. Mm-hmm. If you ever hear about Dumas, Google Dumas, Arkansas, guys, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Like my parents, they was the protective parents. So a lot of times, when we're in their face, we always couldn't go past the front porch. You stayed on. You stayed on. Like it. Oh my God. You couldn't go too far off. At a certain time, you gotta be back inside. Yeah. So that's how they were. But yes, I'm shielded in this situation. Yeah. But once I go to school,
it's a different ball game. You went to school in Alabama, huh?
No, I went to school in Arkansas.
Arkansas?
Yeah. I went to elementary school in Arkansas. After that, I ended up going to middle school in Arizona. Okay. In Arizona, I think I experienced more racism in Arizona than I did in Arkansas. Because Arkansas, the area I lived in was like, it still had a lot of black people, a lot of white people. So a lot of times, the majority of people that I saw and I was around was mostly black people. Okay. So it's a different type of encounter. Okay. You experience other things. Yeah. Our uncle being a cop at one time, chasing someone down our neighborhood, stuff like that. We thinking that's perfectly fine. That's normal. It's like that's not supposed to be normal.
That's not normal.
Or your bike's getting stolen every single time because you just think that's just how the world is. But when you move to the West, it's like, okay, that doesn't happen. But now you start experiencing the racism. Yeah. So it's like, okay, I'm experiencing this. I moved from there. I moved to Virginia. Virginia is a whole different type of ball game. Different ball game. That's when I experienced the whole thing about the police in that situation. Okay. Story time, guys. When I was in high school, I had to pick up one of my teammates. All right. Mm-hmm. We had a girl that was on the football team. She was a kicker. Okay. My coach wanted me to pick her up, but she happens to be a white girl. I pick her up. We go out the neighborhood because I live in a nice neighborhood around this time. But she lives in a nice neighborhood as well. But they're not expecting a black man to be in a nice neighborhood. So I pick her up. I'm getting past the stop sign. I stop. Make a right. It's a cop. He turns on his signal lights. He turns on the signs, all that stuff. I'm thinking like, oh, did I go past the stoplight? Did I stop? Not the stoplight, but the stop sign. Did I stop? Didn't I keep going or something? This man tells me it's because of my windows. He's like, oh, they too tinted. They supposed to be this tinted, whatever. I'm like, okay, it's whatever. Whoop, whoop. After that, he was like, hey, there's a lot of narcotics in the area. Can I search your car? Man. And after that, he had it standing outside in front of his car, and he was checking, looking. The only reason he stopped because he saw my helmet and my shoulder pads in the back. And he was like, oh, you go to Grassfield? He's like, yeah. And he's like, what position you play? And then he asked me that question and let me be. And after that, that's when I experienced that. I never experienced the whole, like, them roughing me up and nothing like that. Yeah. But just experiencing that, I was like, okay, I'm experiencing this. Imagine people in other places that are experiencing way worse than me. That's why
I say, like, I know it's people that really go through those type of things. That's why it doesn't. That's why I do feel for them because I feel bad like that black people are being treated in that way. You know what I mean? So like we can't, everything we do, we gotta always be looking behind our back, looking inside of us, making sure we're doing everything right because, we always got to do twice as better than anybody that may be not our color, as far as like white people, they don't have to do as much as we do in many situations, you know what I mean? So every time I feel like we just always got to be on point. Yep. We got to be on point always. Exactly. And that it's crazy. It's double standards, but it's crazy. It's so crazy. It's so crazy, but
Nah, you right about that. Devontae, Pops, y'all got any how do y'all feel about it? I just want to see. PTSD. Like if
he
black
can
people
really speak on it because he done experience. He was in the military too, so he done been through.
Oh really? Yeah. Okay, so Do you feel that us as black people are born with PTSD at all?
No.
No.
I don't think we were born with it. Like Laila was alluded to. I think it's basically just if you grew up in a poverty-stricken area, probably all of them have experienced it by seeing what goes on in those type of neighborhoods. Now, when I was young, I lived between two projects. I've seen a lot of different things go on. I've seen people get shot. I've seen people get beat up. I've seen police brutality. But as far as just, it just depends on where you were brought up, where you were born, what area you was brought up in. And then I think that's the main thing is if you were born in it, definitely you will experience PTSD. If you wasn't, you'll probably experience later on in life and didn't hear about it through other people. And me going in the military, I mean, I've got several guys that I was in the military with, and even, me, I've seen certain things happen in the military where I could say I do have PTSD. You know what I mean? Where I've seen guys get thrown over off a ship into the water. I've seen where mines have blown up and hit a guy's leg and things like that. I've never seen nobody actually be blew up and killed or anything like that, but I've seen things happen in the military that will cause you to have PTSD. But as far as somebody being born with it, just out the womb, they have to actually experience it.
They have to experience it, man.
Yeah, I feel that though. I feel that, and that's I do believe that too, though. I do believe, like both of y'all said, like it does depend on like where your upbringing is as well. Because I know my dad was in the military as well. And he always used to talk about when he was in the Marines. Back in the late '80s to the early '90s, and how it was when he was in like Somalia and places like that.
Yeah.
And I know, like, it's a lot of times when there's a story he wants to tell us, he can't tell us because he already knows it will come back to him and he'll feel a certain type of way. So I understand what you're saying about this PTSD thing. I know none of us in here can experience what y'all went through at all, So yeah, that's true. That's true. And then Devontae, you wanted to say anything?
I'm pretty much in the same ballpark as y'all. Like, like you're not really born with it. It's like it comes with age and where you've been.
Yeah.
And then also too, I like to add that like it's also about your support system that's around you as well. Like how bad your PTSD will get. Like you can see a lot of traumatic things, but if you got the right people around you, it can be softened.
Yeah. I feel
but like if you still got people that's traumatic just like you, like which most people are, like if they in a traumatic area with a lot of traumatic events, everybody's traumatized. Yeah. So then you become numb. You become numb and then you become like them. It's a whole life. And then it becomes a cycle, like a whole continuous cycle.
Yeah, man, they don't even be realizing that they experiencing traumatic stuff and they have PTSD. They don't know that they have to get stuff off their chest. They have to speak to people about things. They hold it all in, you know what I mean? And like my dad said, and he said, you become numb to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Let me go on and give y'all a gunshot, man. y'all over here, y'all speaking right now. So, I'm gonna have some callers for this episode. I'm hoping my callers give me just as much as y'all three just did.
Okay.
We're gonna see. So I think it's on the right. I'm gonna call my boy Bryce. I'm gonna see what he got to say.
Hello.
Bryce.
What up, Mickey?
What it do, boy? This your boy Slxck the Don, host of the Glorious Weekday podcast. You're on a podcast right now, so do not incriminate yourself.
Oh, you already know what it is.
What's good, bro?
Nothing much, man. I can't complain at all. How y'all make it?
I'm doing pretty well, so I'm in a room with Laila, our brother Devontae, and our pops Carl. We over here talking about PTSD and things and black people. And so my question to you is, do you believe that us as black people are born with PTSD?
Well, first, how y'all doing over there? How y'all making?
Doing good, man.
Great,
Doing good.
man.
Oh, that's a good one, Mickey. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie.
That's a brain buster there.
Yes, indeed. Like, just thinking about it, like being black, man. It's just certain things you just raised, and it's like automatic. Like,
Yeah.
So I feel like it's sad, but honestly, it's true. Like, we were definitely born with that, man.
Believe it?
Or we taught it for sure.
Are you saying
Okay.
taught? So you believe that we can be taught PTSD?
I mean, I feel like it's just let's say, like we born, but it's like we might not understand, but as we grow, we don't have to be taught. We just observe it on some stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like we'll be like, okay, we can't do that, or we can't act like this here. You know what I'm saying? Like certain things like that. Like,
yeah.
Yes, indeed. Though it is crazy. It is pretty crazy. Though.
I understand. I also mentioned like it also depends like where you from. Like
yes,
all of us from the South. Like Bryce, you from what? Louisiana, right?
Oh, Brutally, Louisiana. You never heard of it.
Look, his accent started coming out. So you already know.
Yes, indeed. I used to chew on sugar cane. Oh, you know how it is.
Yeah, man. So I feel like for us, I feel like the experience a lot of times, it's a little different for us compared to somebody that's saying like Maine. Or something, our experiences are different. Like we're gonna see way more things than they probably see,
Yes, indeed.
So it's like, okay, that's why I say, the PTSD thing, it also just depends on the area that you're in, because sometimes your PTSD could be different, depends on where you're at. Like if you're on the West Coast, your PTSD might be different from somebody on the East Coast.
Real talk.
Because the whole way the whole region is anyway is different. So I definitely feel you on that one though. I definitely feel that. And then that's what I was trying to say too, is like as kids, we're very observant of everything.
Yeah.
Super observant.
So
that's what
so you start getting these things, like for example, certain fears. Some people have fears based off of things that happened in the past that they probably can't even remember because they were so young when it happened. And they don't even know why they're afraid. In this situation,
yes,
like, and then they're like their 20s and their 30s,
Come on now, Mickey, you saying something now? Why?
Look, give me myself a gunshot, man. No. But no, real talk though. That's how I feel about the PTSD thing. So
yes, indeed.
So technically, like, yes and no. Like, yes, we can be born with it, but also, no, you might not be born with it, but as time goes on, you start having different situations.
Because you're black. At the end of the day, you're black. You ain't changing your color.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's the thing. And a lot of black people hit rude awakenings because they be having an identity crisis, not knowing that they black. And you come across the right person, they'll make sure you know that you're black.
Exactly.
Make sure you know,
Make sure you know that you're black. Man. So this something that everybody will learn about or experience just because of the color of your skin.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. And I'm glad you said that. Right now, I'm working in law enforcement. So one thing I'm gonna tell you, OG told me a long time. He was like, "Look, man, before anything, you're a black man." And I was like, "Look, come on now, you ain't gotta tell." Look, I'm like, I totally understand that. So it's like, you gotta know. It's nothing like you can't even go around it. Even if you mixed, you black.
You black.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
So you gotta love it, and I certainly love it. Me.
Yeah, I feel that, man. I feel that completely. But yeah, Bryce, that's all I have for you, man. You want to shine anything out before you go?
Man, look, y'all bless up. That's all I gotta say. Y'all, live in y'all right truth. You know how it is.
Yeah.
I'm a real simple man. Y'all can follow me on that ground. Big hand _official. That's all it is with me, Mickey. I appreciate the time. Y'all hold it down.
Anytime, man. I gotta get you to Houston so you can be on the podcast as well, man. You can bring your brother too, though.
Oh, we will come cut up.
Oh, bet. All right, bro.
Yeah, already, man. Y'all hold it down, man.
All right, you too, man.
All right.
All right. All right, that was cool. He gave some good insight. Yeah. Basically, everybody so far is kind of saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Right now, like literally, it's been 4 people, and everybody's all kind of said the same. So I think I'm gonna call one more person. I'm going to call my line brother. Shout out to Phi Beta Sigma fraternity Incorporated. I'm gonna hit up my line, brother Miles. I'm gonna see what he got to say.
Hello?
Is this Miles, aka Terrence?
This is he.
What it do, man? This your boy Slxck the Don, host of the Glows Weekday podcast. You're on a podcast right now, so do not incriminate yourself.
Well, I ain't gonna tell you where I got the stuff hit at since I'm on the podcast.
Hey, man. I mean, you could if you want to, but they just gonna hold it against you in court. You seen all the rappers now?
Yeah. All right.
What's good, LB?
What's good with y'all? How y'all doing?
I'm doing good, man. Chilling. I'm with my girl Laila Buckets over here right now. We were talking about PTSD and black people, right? Both of them in the same sentence. So my question to you is: do you feel that us as black people are born with PTSD?
Born with? No.
Okay.
But is it passed down from generations? Yes.
Okay. Why you say that?
It'll take too long to get into specific things that's passed down from generations, but it's the trauma and the mindset that's passed down from generations. So it's the slaves who endured the pain. They passed it down to. I was just talking about this in class the other day. They passed it down to the generation after that and the generation. So the rules and everything we began to live by and the things we've done are just passed down. So born with, I would say no. But is it passed down from the parent to, okay, walk this way or do this or do a certain way or if you hear gunshots run or not even parents, it's older people in your neighborhood. You feel me? Like, if you hear gunshots, run the other way, or if you hear a dog, if you might hear a dog bark and run, or you know what I'm saying, all types of stuff. Yeah. But born with, no, I wouldn't say it was born with. It passed down, yes. So it might as well be born with because you're being born into this lifestyle, and to this PTSD is going to get taught to you.
Yeah, and you've also got where if you see other black people run, you run. That's another one too. You go
to any party, college party. Exactly. If they running, you running.
You running.
Exactly.
No, but I didn't even really think about the whole it being passed down. Like that really does make some sense. I think Devontae said something like that earlier about it being passed down and everything.
Yeah. It makes sense when you put it like that.
Yeah, because I was also saying it just depends on what region that you're born in, because some depending on the region depends on what type of PTSD you may experience as well. Like I was saying, I know that you remember we made that joke about Vermont a while back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say for example, I really don't know if there's any black people that live in Vermont, but let's say there's a black person that lives in Vermont. Their experience is going to be different from somebody that's been born in Alabama or raised up in Florida.
Right.
Yeah, so it's I can understand we could also be different type of forms. And Laila, you had said something too, right? You had said basically what you say? Because you said something.
Man, it's really off of what you experience, honestly. You know what I mean? It's off of experience too as well, because it's a lot of black people that are born in situation where they don't even know what the history of black people. It depends on what you're taught as well. Just like if your family is teaching you these things and telling you about these situations that they went through or that their people went through or whatever. But if you're not grown up into that type of situation where you're being taught it or you've experienced it, then you're not gonna have PTSD. That's not gonna. I feel like it comes later on in life, because I feel like just with the color of your skin, you're gonna experience some type of you know what I mean, some type of sort of thing against you because you're black. You know what I mean? So some type of discrimination. But as far as being born with it, I don't think we are necessarily are born with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that. But yeah, Miles, that's all I have for you, man. You want to shout anything out before you go?
Man, shout out to my boy Oh, I can't say your real name.
You said my no. Listen, Bryce said my real name earlier too. You can say my real name, bro. You good?
Oh, shout out to that boy Mickey Anderson.
He said the basically most Georgia government.
Oh, my bad. Retake. We gonna cut this one out. Shout out to my boy Mick, man.
Hey, man.
Weekday podcast.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. I gotta have you back on like in person. So one of these days you gotta pop out to Houston, man.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, bad.
I got you. I'm pulling up real soon.
All right.
You ain't even gonna see me. You just gonna hit the tire marks.
I was gonna make a joke about some tires, but I ain't gonna make the joke because we already know. If you know, you know. But nah, man, that's all I have for you, man. I'm gonna talk to you later. All right.
All right, man. Y'all be safe.
All right, you too.
All right, bro.
All right. Okay, that was cool. So basically, 6 people, and everyone basically said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Makes a lot of sense. You know, either it depends on the area that you live, depends on if it's been passed on, and it depends on if you actually even experienced this at all, or you experience these things down the road. Yeah. Okay, that was a great conversation. That might be one of my favorite conversations, man. Because, boy, you know, we talked about a lot of different things. But you know how it been on here. We talked about different things. We talked about we have. we talked about that. We talked about versus battles. But you know, the serious ones, I do be liking the serious ones. Although we don't have them that often. I do be liking the serious ones, though. I do like the serious ones. But now, we're done being serious. We about to go into the next segment, which is Tell Me
It's gonna
Why.
be a good day. Favorite song on replay. Good vibes on the weekend. Good vibes on the weekday. Can't just talk, you gotta show me. Chillin' with my cousins and my brody. Boy, go chase them dreams is what they told me. I can't let these haters come and fold me.